Imagine a voice so smooth it could melt butter on a cold day. That's DAngelo. Not just a singer, but a vibe, a human mood ring. The man whose music made even the most rhythm-challenged folks suddenly believe they could two-step. But behind that velvet voice, a story thicker than molasses and twice as rich. So buckle up, because we're diving into the life, the love, and the legacy of the soul magician himself, DAngelo, the man who made R&B blush. Let's rewind the record. He was born Michael Eugene Archer, February 11th, 1974, in Richmond, Virginia, a city that taught him two things: how to hustle and how to hold faith when everything else runs out. His dad, Luther, was a Pentecostal preacher. Translation: if you missed Sunday service, your entire week came pre-blessed with guilt. His mom, Mary, was the quiet storm that kept the house standing through thin wallets and thick prayers. Money, tight, dreams, huge, meals, sometimes creative, but always shared with laughter. From those humble walls came the first sparks of the DAngelo we know. By 3, he was tickling the piano keys like they owed him rent. By 10, he could play by ear, leading the church choir to glory while the congregation shouted, "Sing it, baby!" That church wasn't just a building. It was his first recording studio, complete with an audience, echo, and the occasional tambourine solo that refused to stay on beat. But life had its rough notes. Richmond in the 80s wasn't exactly a Disney montage. Racial divides, struggling schools, and streets that taught lessons faster than textbooks ever could. DAngelo was the shy kid, the church boy, who got teased for not being hard enough. Spoiler alert, that quiet kid would later redefine what hard sounds like in R&B. At 16, he took his first big swing, an audition at the Apollo Theater. He bombed hard. The crowd booed him like he just tried to sell them decaffeinated coffee. But a few months later, he came back. Same stage, same mic, different fire. And this time, the crowd rose. They felt it. That was the moment he stopped being Michael and became DAngelo. The comeback kid with a choir boy heart and a rebel's rhythm. See, every great artist has an origin story. For DAngelo, it wasn't glitz, it was grit. Those long nights, empty pockets, and Sunday hymns molded a man who'd later turn heartbreak into harmony and pain into platinum. And speaking of platinum, if his childhood was the prelude, then what came next? Oh, that was the sax solo of destiny. Get ready, because the next chapter hits harder than a drum line at a homecoming game. The 1990s didn't just welcome DAngelo, they practically rolled out a red carpet made of velvet grooves and incense smoke. Picture it, a young kid from Richmond landing in New York with nothing but a notebook full of dreams and the confidence of someone who's never paid New York rent before. In 1991, he started hustling in small clubs with his group Precise, and let's just say the paychecks were more bus fare than Bentley. But DAngelo had something no one else did, that golden mix of gospel soul and street smooth. It was like Marvin Gaye met a jazz saxophone and had a baby who wrote poetry. Then came 1994, the year everything changed. He co-wrote You Will Know for Black Men United, and suddenly everyone in the R&B scene was like, who is this kid? The song hit the charts, DAngelo got noticed, and EMI Records handed him a deal faster than you can say Neo-Soul Revolution. A year later, boom, Brown Sugar dropped. The world wasn't ready. Smooth, smoky, unapologetically soulful. It sold over 3 million copies, went platinum, and made every candlelit dinner suddenly require a DAngelo playlist. Brown Sugar, Lady, Cruisin'. These weren't just songs, they were moments in time. R&B grew up that year, and DAngelo, he became the genre's new face, or let's be real, torso, of soul. But he wasn't done yet. By the late 90s, DAngelo joined forces with musical geniuses like Questlove, Jay Dilla, and Erykah Badu, forming the Soulquarians. Together, they didn't just make music, they built art. And when 2000's Voodoo dropped, it didn't just top the Billboard charts, it set the charts on fire. 2 million albums sold, 2 Grammys won, and one very iconic music video that had the world collectively holding its breath. Untitled, How Does It Feel? Yeah, that one. The slow zoom, the sweat, the absolute. The internet hadn't even peaked yet, but that video broke it before it began. Problem was, that video also boxed him in. People stopped listening and started looking. DAngelo hated it. The sex symbol label, the pressure, the spotlight, it all felt wrong. So like a true artist with a sense of self-preservation, he vanished. No Instagram posts, no paparazzi sightings, just gone. Fame had drained him dry, but legends don't fade, they recharge. In 2014, like a phoenix dipped in soul, he returned with Black Messiah. The timing? Perfect. America was tense, protests filled the streets, and DAngelo came back with an album that spoke truth to power. It hit #1, won Grammys, and reminded everyone, he wasn't just a voice, he was a movement. Even into 2025, rumors buzzed of new tracks. Proof that the fire never left, it just learned to burn quieter. And while the stage was his kingdom, home was his sanctuary. Let's take a peek inside the soulful sanctuaries of DAngelo. Because his homes weren't just places to live, they were extensions of his music. His Richmond, Virginia estate, worth around $500,000, was where it all began. A renovated farmhouse on 5 acres, it looked straight out of a Southern dream sequence. Think wooden beams, a stone fireplace, and a view of the James River that practically begged you to write a love song. This was where he'd sit at his piano with a cup of coffee, scribbling lyrics while the morning sun danced across old record sleeves. Then there was his Harlem brownstone, the $800,000 time capsule of jazz and soul energy. Just a few blocks from the Apollo Theater. Poetic, right? Inside, the vibe was pure creativity. Warm lighting, stacks of vinyl, and a rooftop that overlooked the heartbeat of Harlem. He'd grill, jam, and sometimes just sit there, watching the skyline while melodies floated through his mind like ghosts of Motown past. And when he needed peace from it all, there was the Santa Barbara Villa, ocean breeze, lemon trees. A view so calming it could lower your blood pressure on sight. Bought in 2018 for $600,000, it became his creative retreat, where barefoot walks by the water replaced studio lights and deadlines. Each home told a different chapter. Richmond was roots, Harlem was hustle, and Santa Barbara was healing. But every legend knows, what's a soul king without some royal rides? Let's open the garage door. First up, the BMW M8 Coupe, worth around $140,000. Sleek, fast, and smoother than one of his baselines. It wasn't just a car, it was his therapy on wheels. Midnight drives, music blasting, windows down, just him and the hum of horsepower. Then came the Audi RS5, a $90,000 machine that matched his energy. Refined, quiet fire. This was the no cameras, just me ride. Perfect for escaping the noise without losing the thrill. And finally, the Mercedes E-Class, his go-to daily. The calm, luxurious sedan that whispered, I've got nothing to prove anymore. Leather seats, mellow playlists, peace of mind. These homes and cars weren't trophies. They were therapy. They were where the man behind the music found balance, family, and sometimes forgiveness. If his albums told the story of his soul, his homes told the story of his healing. And as soulful as his music was, DAngelo's personal life hit just as deep. Because behind the fame, the Grammys, and the glow, there was a father, a lover, and a man still learning how to forgive himself. Get ready, because the next part peels back the curtain on DAngelo's private world, his love life, his kids, his heartbreak, and the tragedy that struck in 2025. Behind the legend of DAngelo was a man who preferred whispers over headlines. He wasn't the type to flood timelines or chase clicks. His peace came from rhythm, not recognition. But when it came to family, love, and loss, that's where the real story lived. See, DAngelo never married, but love. Oh, he knew it like the back of his Fender Rhodes. In the late 90s, he met Angie Stone, the powerhouse R&B singer with a voice that could out-preach a choir. Their chemistry wasn't just musical, it was magnetic. Together, they created both music and magic. And in 1998, they welcomed a son, Michael Archer Jr., nicknamed Suavo Twain. For a while, it was picture perfect. Two soul artists, one shared dream. But fame has a funny way of remixing relationships. Rumors, schedules, ego, the holy trinity of heartbreak. They eventually split, but their bond as parents never broke. And when tragedy struck in March of 2025, Angie's fatal car crash, DAngelo was shattered. At her funeral, he stood up, eyes red, voice trembling, and said, "She gave the world her voice, and she gave me a reason to sing." That moment said it all. He had two other children, Imani, born in 1999, the artist of the family who inherited both her father's talent and his quiet fire, and Morocco, born in 2010, the baby of the bunch who brought laughter back into DAngelo's life. He guarded them from fame's flashbulbs, raising them on lessons his father once preached: faith, family, and finish what you start. Still, the man behind the music wasn't immune to struggle. In 2005, things got dark. Legal trouble, substance battles, a near-fatal car crash. It was like watching a symphony fall out of tune. The media called it the fall of a soul god. But DAngelo, he saw it as the remix of redemption. He checked into rehab, got clean, and faced his demons head-on. When asked about it years later, he said, "I messed up, but I'm still here." Simple words, but they hit harder than a bass drop. He channeled that pain into purpose. He donated quietly, funding music programs in Richmond, rebuilding the same community that built him. He hosted small benefit shows, gave scholarships, and never bragged about it once. In 2016, BIT tried to honor him with a humanitarian award. He accepted, smiled, and said, "I just did what my mama told me." That humility, that's the real DAngelo. But in October 2025, the music world fell silent. News broke that DAngelo had passed away, age 51, after a quiet battle with pancreatic cancer. The internet froze. Fans didn't want to believe it. The man whose music healed hearts was gone, just like that. He'd been fighting it privately since early that year. Doctors caught it late, as they often do, and he kept it quiet, determined to live his last days surrounded by love, not cameras. His kids, his siblings, his closest friends, they were all there in his Harlem brownstone. His final words to them? "Keep singing." Always there was no flashy funeral, just a small service back home in Richmond, hymns filling the church that once echoed with his childlike piano. The same keys that started it all, now ringing one last goodbye. Tributes poured in like floodlights at dusk. Beyoncé, Maxwell, Alicia Keys. They all posted their love. Questlove wrote, "DAngelo didn't chase the charts, he chased truth and caught it." And maybe that's the best way to sum him up. He wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing feeling. Even his finances reflected that. By 2025, DAngelo's net worth stood around $1 million. Modest for a man who sold over 8 million albums and reshaped R&B. But that's DAngelo for you. He never wanted rich, he wanted real. Most of his money came from music royalties, those timeless hits still spinning on playlists and vinyls. Brown Sugar brought in steady streaming cash. Voodoo made him a household name, and Black Messiah reignited his purpose. Even decades later, those albums still earned him over $200,000 a year in royalties. Proof that authenticity pays longer than hype ever will. He also kept his circle small and his investments smart. Music studios, modest real estate, and a few select tours. His 2000 Voodoo tour made over $10 million, and his comeback Black Messiah tour earned another $5 million. But instead of splurging, he gave back to family, to faith, to his hometown. He was never the richest man in the room, but he was always the one everyone listened to. Because here's the truth, DAngelo didn't just make songs, he made soul feel cool again. In a world drowning in auto-tune and algorithms, he proved that raw emotion still sells, that being real was the ultimate rebellion. So yeah, his story ends too soon. But his legacy, that's eternal. Every note, every lyric, every breath he ever recorded, it still lingers in the air like incense after a Sunday service. And maybe somewhere up there, he's back at that piano, barefoot, smiling, and saying, "Don't cry for me, just turn the volume up." If you made it this far, here's your encore. Hit that like, drop a comment with your favorite DAngelo track, and tell us what it meant to you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Celeb Insider, because we've got more stories like this. The ones that make you laugh, cry, and remember why music still matters. Thanks for watching. Stay soulful, stay real, and as DAngelo would say, keep singing.